Hi guys, Natasha Tessier here, owner of Dwell Realty Design by EXP here in the city of Houston, born and raised. Happy to help you anytime. Please reach out. Today, I wanted to talk to you about property taxes in Texas. Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier. Welcome to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button below. Please comment, tell me where you're from. I'd love to hear from my viewers. Today I wanted to talk about property taxes in Texas. It's changed a bit over the past year or so because of the rising values. So I kind of wanted to talk about different ways you can combat it, or if you're looking for a house, how you can look for different things and help you out that way. We don't have a state income tax, and that's huge. I know a lot of my clients in California are paying, 10%, even more to their state income tax. So we don't have any state income tax, but of course they're gonna get you one way or the other. So here they're gonna get you with property taxes. It varies. The lowest I've seen is 1.79. The highest is like 3.7, and that's a big gap. So let's just say you're buying a $500,000 house. So if you're going up basically 2%, that's gonna be $10,000 more a year in property taxes. That's a lot of money and a lot of monthly money. So you wanna think about that. If that is important to you, you're gonna need to go to an older neighborhood. The only new neighborhood that I know of that has a below 3% is Wood Forest, where I currently live, and it's 2.79, I think is what it's lowered to. So the reason these new neighborhoods have higher property taxes than the older ones is when a developer comes in and they build a new neighborhood, they take out basically a loan from the city for the infrastructure, for the plumbing and all that stuff, and then that is paid off over time. So the more people that move into the neighborhood, and then the more it gets paid down, then the rate slowly goes down. So when I lived in Wood Trace, which is another neighborhood over near Tomball, the rate was 3.5, and now I think it's 3.3. So it will go down over time, but I tell people don't move in and think, you're gonna drop 1% anytime soon. It's a slow decline to go down. So the newer neighborhoods have to pay that off. So like the neighborhood I'm building in is probably 20 years old. There's lots of older homes in there, and it's only 1.79. So there's a big difference in the property taxes. So we can actually set up your search. If you don't want to be above 2%, we can set that up that way. So that can be super helpful. Now, the newer neighborhoods are the master plan communities, which is the trade-off. So like Wood Forest has neighborhood pool. It has walking trails with trees that I can walk in the shade all summer. It has dog parks. It has an adult pool, a kid pool, another pool that was just built in the back. Everything a splash pad, basketball courts, tennis courts. I mean, literally everything. Whereas Crown Oaks has some lakes and they have a little tiny park. They don't have walking trails and different things. So again, there's a trade-off there. So that's how you kind of calculate your property taxes. You take the cost of, and everybody asks, does it go up to the cost that I purchased? Not usually, but it can, and I've seen it happen before. You can always fight your property taxes. I fight them every year. I have a lawyer, and how this works is they usually charge 25% of what they save me. So let's just say they save me $2,000 in property taxes. Their fee would be $500. So in the end, you end up $1,500 ahead is how that kind of works. And I'm happy to share their information with anybody. You just call them and you say, here are the solds. And it's very, very messy right now because we peaked and now the prices are coming down. And so where does that property tax fall and what's fair? Now you only have a certain time of year and a cutoff to fight it, and then it starts over. The other thing that we need to talk about is there are exemptions. So the main exemption is the homestead exemption. If you live in that house, you're gonna pay a lot less than if it's a rental property or whatever. And one thing that Montgomery County did that I thought was really cool in May, because our prices went up so quickly and they were worried about people being able to pay, they used to offer $20,000 off your price of your house for taxes. So instead of paying on $500, you would pay on say $480. But they passed a law in May that brought it down $40,000. So instead of paying $500, you're going to pay on $460. So that was helpful. Homestead, it's not like a number off. It's a different percentage on your county, your school, and those taxes, but it does save you quite a bit. And then there's an over 65 exemption that helps people. It kind of locks in their taxes as they hit retirement. And then there's also my veterans, they get a lot of discount on their taxes. Some of them don't pay. If you're 100% disabled, you don't pay property taxes in Texas once you're qualified. So I just closed a house last week. He's 100% disabled. They won't pay any property taxes. So lots to think about there. The other thing to think about is when you close, and this is kind of, again, this year a little bit more escalated. So we pay our property taxes in the rear. So like in December, we'll pay for all of 22. So if you bought a house, let's say September 1st, at title when you close, the seller's going to credit you from January 1st to September 1st, right? And then you're going to be responsible for September 1st to the end of the year. Well, they're estimating what that's going to be on because our taxes don't actually come out till October, November about right now. And so with that estimate, both parties sign a sheet of paper at closing that say you have the right to go back to the buyer or seller if that number is off and collect more money from them. So let's say you bought a house and they did the taxes based on $350 and you get your tax bill and it's $450 and that seller only gave you, X amount of dollars based on the $350, you have the right to go back to them and say, hey, you owe me $1,000 more or whatever the number is. Again, if it's $50, I don't know that I would, take the time to do that. But if it's a substantial amount, I always tell my clients, you have the right to go back to them. They sign something at title, you sign something at title. I feel like it's a little bit, backwards or not as current. Like I think there could be a better way to resolve that. But both parties sign something saying if the taxes are off, that you have a right to go back to the buyer or seller and, fight that off. Let's say, they estimated it and the property dropped for some reason, then they can go to the buyer and say, hey, we overpaid you. So anyway, lots of interesting ways to go about it. But if you're looking and property tax is a big deal, a lot of my retired people, it's a big deal, just let me know and then we can set up a search based on, under a certain percentage so you don't get caught up in that. If you're wanting a newer neighborhood and a ton of amenities, you're probably gonna just have to pay more for property taxes. In the end, it works out a lot better for most of my clients once they deal with no state income tax and the gas is lower and everything is lower here. So it ends up much better. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Please fill out our form below or reach out anytime, and I hope you have a blessed day.